something. I edited to perfection. She's like, all right, you the class editor. Everybody's going. Everybody's good. While I teach the rest of the class, she's like, all right, cool. You you already know it, so I ain't gotta teach you much. Just sharpen your. I just gotta sharpen little things.
Mhm.
Blah blah. So second semester came around. She's like, yeah, study Av. Thick ass book. She's like, I want you to know that, and I want you to know it. I want you to study this program. In 3 weeks, you got to teach it. You got to teach the rest of your classmates. When I tell you, this lady did nothing for our class, but she just gave us the projects. This is the project I want you to do.
Yeah.
When you edit it, hey, you want to learn Avid? You better go talk to him. Showing everybody in the we had like this we had like this editing room. It's an editing room slash stage,
Mhm.
and everybody just came to me. Yo, can you edit my? I was like, I'm gonna show you how to edit this. Boom, boom, boom. Like all I got from that class was straight A's because, like, again, I came in with the not, but uh, yeah, that's like everything was hands on. Like that's how that's why I still remember my craft because the way I got taught, everything was
It's a
hands on.
skill. It's like
Yeah,
I did it with my hands. I didn't have to read it in the book. But two
right,
things. The reason why I love Belly is not just because Nas is in it and there's like a Jamaican culture in it, but when I tell you the way I watched and rewatched the Hype Williams commentary
yeah,
of like the scenes and shit, the lighting, the colors, why he wanted their body to look a certain way. I watched that shit like that man was in the room with me back to back to back to back to back. And I had an English teacher that was teaching us how to draw um a movie in frame. So like we
right.
would
So
yes,
storyboarding,
storyboarding. He was teaching us that. And when he initially gave it to us, I'm just like, why would you be doing this? And we're supposed to be learning English in this class. But it wasn't until I got to college where I was like, I see what that man was doing.
right?
I see what
So
that man was doing.
it's crazy enough. I was doing it as a kid, drawing comic books
Yes.
without anybody teaching me how to storyboard.
Yes. It was me,
So
my brother, and my cousin making comics and doing that. But my thing is,
so
I'm a
I
big
got
drawer. I'm not a
right,
mini drawer.
right. Like where and that's the way I learn best. I
Hmm.
got to do it. I got to do it in order to like for it to register. Can't like don't get me wrong. The book thing I can learn by reading, but if I don't do it,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a master of it. So
Yeah.
like even with just with anything I like any skill set I've learned between
Hmm.
making pictures to putting people on the ground. If I don't learn best, I learn I learn best by
Yeah.
by doing.
Yeah.
Like, I like that's how like don't get me wrong, I'm a good not like when it comes to theory and all that shit, like I
Hmm.
can get it, cool, boom boom boom. But I'm not putting it into practice, it don't stick.
Hmm. Same. I'm like that too.
Even like with photography, with my past career, like
Yeah.
if it don't if I'm not driving it home, like and if I'm not driving home live, like it's like, even like just experiment.
Hmm.
If I get it, and I gotta do it again. Even when I like like if I absolutely have to do like Photoshop work, or if I absolutely because even if I have to do like video editing again,
Hmm.
which I got away from because it turned me to a complete hermit. I'm like, this is not normal. But
Hmm.
if I gotta do it, I'll do it. But if I'm not doing it while I'm learning,
Hmm. It's
it don't
pointless.
register. Like, and that's how photography was taught to me. It was like, yo,
Yeah.
like everything has to like you got to be hands on with it. Otherwise, it's not gonna. It's not gonna. And thankfully, I had the type of teachers that was like, all right, we're gonna teach you theory, but I want you to also put this theory into practice, like right after. Like, all right, we're gonna give you all this book shit, but then we're gonna give like chemistry, understanding chemistry. If you're not thrown in it, you're not gonna
Let me tell you something.
push your
I hate
photography.
it. Well, okay. The idea of a chemistry was cool. I had a chemistry teacher that couldn't teach chemistry. He just knew chemistry. I
Yeah,
had to
I
take
hate.
chemistry online
Yeah,
to understand what he was trying to teach, but he sucked at teaching it.
yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Like, cause I'll tell you, I hate the math in science.
Cause I'm just like, why are we doing this?
I hate the math part. Like, cause I had to take physics and
Okay,
calculus when I was in high school.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was taking. Yeah, I had to take physics, and so I hated the math part. You know why? Because it brought me back to being a kid, where I like. Don't get me wrong. I could do math like it's the back of my head, but like I was that type of kid. I had to do 200 problems a night homework because I sucked at math.
I had Miss Giovanni in 5th grade and 6th grade, Miss Thomas, who would give the 100 problems and she'll put the 5-minute timer on. Ma'am, do you know what you did to my anxiety? Okay, so we are here with the bullshit. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I
This
hated that.
like,
Okay.
and I was doing this nightly
Oh no, no,
from the time I got home to like 6 in the morning.
no.
I was doing math problems, so that's why now, like high school, college,
Hmm.
math was like second nature for me. Although, like I said, I hated math and calculus and
Hmm.
physics, especially physics. I'm like, why don't we just get the practical application part? Because I play pool all the time, so I could
Okay.
get physics. I like physics is not, but the math part, I'm like, yo, I hate even when it got to like pre like because in high school I was taking pre-cal calculus on top of physics. Hated it.
Your plate was too full.
My play when I tell you high school, I was doing everything. I was doing the art part with the photography program. Was in ROTC for a little bit. I was running
What?
track. I ran track. I played volleyball. I was in a weightlifting club. I
This
was in
is
a
why
karate
you
club.
can't sleep, Anthony.
Yo, I just get in this shit.
Your
Yeah,
body is over it.
yo, and
Oh.
I was doing this in high school. So like on that, and I had a job in high school. I was in the work study shit. So on average, I even in high school, I got home at around midnight,
Hmm.
and then I had to get up for class because what was it? Class was at 8. I had to be on the train by 6:30. Get to school by 7. Yeah, shit. Yo, when I say I was super active in high school,
You've been living a adult life very early on in life.
yeah,
And we could talk about that all day, but I'm not gonna allow you to because I'll never finish. Okay. Next question is, have you ever shot anyone you always wanted to meet in real life, and what was that like?
man.
Just give me one
All right,
person.
all right. Lloyd Banks,
Okay.
coolest, coolest man. When I tell you about the coolest guy I've ever photographed, like
Mhm.
I'll even tell you how I got the opportunity to do it. It's not some normal shit because
Mhm.
no agent called me, no manager called me. His friend who does his merch.
Mhm.
I'm cool with another. I'm cool with him and another guy that I met during from my days of photographing Muay Thai
Mhm.
kickboxing. So, and this was during the pandemic, mind you. So
Mhm.
one day I get a call. It's like, "Yo, how you doing?" I'm like, "Good, bro. How you been in this pandemic? Cool, cool, cool. Hey, listen, when are you free next week?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. What's up?" It was like, "Yo, we need somebody to shoot Lloyd Banks cover for the first portion of the Inevitable. Can you make it?" I was like, "Yeah." Just link me to whoever's in charge of the creative, and we'll start brainstorming. So
Mhm.
it's me, it's him, it's Lloyd Banks in the chat. We all talking. What do we want? Boom, boom. All right, how do you want the art to look? Blah blah. All right, here's what Lloyd Banks sent me his influences. I sent him mine. We make it work.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, they're like, "All right, when can you make it?" I was like, "Yo, just give me a date, whatever." All right, go hop on the LIRR train, meet me. I guess on the bottom of these tracks
Mhm.
and on one of the stops. So I get there, man, like it's just him and his guy. We photograph him, boom, boom, boom. At first he's silent, so I'm working with him and Lloyd. I'm like, all right. Boom, boom. So shoot ends, and I'm like, all right, I gotta go. Blah blah. He's like, you want me to take you? Was like, you want to take you to the train station? I'm like, nah, you don't do that. Cool. I bought a ticket. He's like, no, no, I'll take you. Ain't nothing. I
Mm.
was like, all right, shit, you paying? But we go in his car. He's got a dad car, by the way. He's got a parent car.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm like, okay, yo, this guy's living his truth. I'm like,
Yeah.
he got his parents' car. He's got on 1010 wins.
Mm.
We listening to. We started talking about the Knicks. He drops me off.
Mm.
I'm like, this. And here I'm thinking, I'm photographing one of the members of G Unit. I'm
Mm.
photographing this, and this guy's a regular fucking. He's
Mhm.
a regular fucking dad. He got a son in the back. We talking Knicks. We talking
Mm.
just life shit. And I'm in his. I'm like, coolest cat. And then he just hits me up for the next course in inevitable. He's like, yo, when can you make it? Boom, boom. This is what I'm thinking. I was like, yeah, cool. There's a studio. Boom, boom. Here's a
Mm.
studio we could use. Blah blah. For 3 album covers, it's just me and him. I mean, at first it was his friend, and then
Mm.
you know he just started hitting me up. That's when I also met Hovain. And then the third course inevitable. Like so, like here, and like sometimes I don't take into account who I'm photographing. Some like I take it into account, but I don't overblow it. But the fact that I was with one of the members of G Unit and
Mm.
they had New York City on the lock, and
Mm.
I'm working with him, close with him on three of his uh independent projects, and like coolest like when I say he trusted my creativity and
Yeah.
my artistry and everything. Like it was all he was like, yo, I just need shit to be private. We ain't gotta I don't want this to be overblown. And we're like, yo, this guy is me.
Mm.
But in celebrity form. I'm like, yo, you
Mhm.
me. He brought the third album cover, he brought his family, everything. I'm like, but the way he's private about shit, the way I'm like, yo, this guy, the same aesthetic, like he has the same taste and shit as me. Like as
Mhm.
far as like like the creative, like he likes black and white shit like me. Like when we photographed the second course in Inevitable project, we was like we first shot in front of like this old ass cathedral church that looked like it came out of Batman. They had it made a series, and then next thing you know, we was in a graveyard. Like, yo, this guy got the same. I was like, yo, this guy's me, but in celebrity form. But that's one of the few people I was like, all right, like, cause I like again, I've always wanted to photograph these rappers, cause also too in the back of my head, I'm like, yo, I gotta get a lot of these guys before they go. 'Cause a lot of
That's
them are
what I
older.
thought with Prodigy. I was like, I'm so glad he got him. I
Yo, it's
remember
crazy.
seeing him driving down, was that Broadway? I was driving down Broadway passing Union Square,
Hmm.
and he was walking with a girl going like south on the sidewalk. I was like, oh, that's Prodigy. And he died like, I want to say a week and a half later.
It's crazy because it's crazy because he was well when I photographed him because I photographed him. I want to say my junior year of college
Hmm.
because it was a last minute call too. Like that day, I had gotten a call from this lady named Vicky Tobat.
Mm.
She's author of the Contact High book. So I get a call from her because you know because that day I was out of class.
Hmm.
I was at home cleaning my gear, whatever. And she's like, "Hey," she called me. "Hey, you free right now?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "I need somebody to come down here and take pictures of Prodigy." I was like, "When?" She was like, "Right now." When I tell you, the last time I moved that quick was when I was in Afghanistan. I threw all my shit in the bag. Boom, boom, boom. Said, call a cab. I was like, yo, call a cab.
Yeah.
I was even rushing the cab driver. Yo, you gotta move, my man. You gotta
Hmm.
move. You gotta move this car. Got down there, and she was like, yeah. I was like, how much time I got with Prodigy? He was like, yo, you got as much time as you want.
Mm.
Like, cause part of it, I had to photograph them two talking because she was interviewing him, and then
Mhm.
he was like, "Yo, whatever you wanted to do." Like when I tell you Prodigy was another cat that was cool. He's like, "Yo, whatever you want, I
Mhm.
got you. Just let me know what you spent like 30 to 45 minutes with him." And
Mhm.
there was a Jamaican spot we photographed him in. I forgot where, but it was like this. Oh man, it was crazy. But yeah, he was like, "Whatever you want, however pose you want me to look." I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh shit, all right, cool, shit, yeah, stand like this." coolest guy, and then the year later he passed away.
That's crazy.
So
That's really
and you know what? To this, and I own those photos because initially that was supposed to be for the Fader magazine,
yeah.
and they didn't. And from what Vicky told me, they didn't want those photographed because Prodigy wasn't relevant enough.
Audacity. He go
So
he will be when it revisits for the culture because just like fashion, everything is a circle.
so it
Of,
comes full circle, and
yeah,
I'm like, which is crazy because years later they'd go and photograph Mac Hami. So I'm like, wait a minute.
right.
So y'all photographing Mac,
Hmm.
but y'all didn't want these pictures of Prodigy.
And that's why it's so important who you put in certain roles in magazines and in places that give light to the culture because
Right,
again your opinion is subjective. Who did you ask of its relevance?
right.
You know?
And since then, since after I heard that, I was like, okay, I hope the Fader falls in because I'm because I'm like, how
But
you
look at the life of magazines now. They are on their last limb. They're living off of ads.
literally like even like it's crazy because you would have thought growing up like the Source and Double XL magazine would have been here to this day,
Hmm.
but now the Source is like your toilet paper. Like you see what they do with Double XL.
Hmm.
It's not even the same Double XL that we grew up on. It's like, oh, that's what y'all doing. Oh, all right,
Right.
well, and like you're saying, magazines are falling. So like
Yeah.
seeing how like even a magazine like the Fader cares about the Fader, and I'm like, look, see
Hmm.
how y'all and with me, I'm like that photo shoot wasn't about me. It was about Prodigy. The fact that
Hmm.
y'all didn't even want these pictures of Prodigy because he wasn't relevant enough.
Hmm.
Like this guy's is just as iconic as the fucking Empire State Building, and y'all talk about y'all didn't want this gentleman in your magazine.
Hmm.
Like no
Hmm.
wonder nobody's reading magazines no more. Like
Okay.
so but yeah, Lloyd and the Prodigy, two the two people in my. As a matter of fact, when it goes into my longer
Hmm.
like just long term project of all right, anytime I get a chance to photograph a lot of the rappers we grow up with, let me photograph them now because again we don't have an institution to where okay because I mean we do have one guy who's made pictures like Chimo do right
Hmm.
who was another influence. I met him before he passed away.
Hmm.
Um, he's built this body of work with all these guys in their heyday, but there's like I want to get these guys before they because they still out here well making music. So
Hmm.
definitely, but Lloyd and Prodigy was like two of mine who were like
I want you to do Wu Tang.
it's crazy because they got some of the members of the Wu. I do. I
Yeah.
got Ghostface, got You God, I got RZA, I got Meth, I got only got Ghost. The only one I'm missing is Inspector Deck, Raekwon.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm never gonna get Old Dirty Bastard, so that's out.
I
Probably,
know.
probably Young Dirty Bastard. I probably want to get
Mhm.
him, but yeah, I got to get the rest of them. But I do have some members of the Wu Tang. Do have some of them.
Next
Me, I'm trying.
question. Next question. Let's see. 5 must-have items every photographer should always have for a shoot.
Whoa, that's subjective. I know for me, I gotta have a pair of mechanics gloves.
Okay.
I gotta have like some sort of balaclava
Okay.
type of man in case, like as we seen, like with going into if I'm gonna be photographing dangerous kind of work,
Mhm.
protests or whatever,
Mhm.
good balaclava. Um, always gotta have a good knife,
Okay.
good pocket knife, because you never know when you
I
gotta open.
suck with pocket knives, so I don't keep them. I might cut myself.
Not yo, get a good pocket knife. Yo, you never know when you got. Never know. Keep a good pair of gloves. Keep a good mask. Not the COVID mask. The good balaclava. Because in case
Mhm.
I gotta, because also too, I photograph a lot of quote unquote counterculture. So
Mhm.
the bike life stuff, fast cars, skateboarding,
Mhm.
whatever. And so if I'm gonna be going in illegal places, it's good to have a mask. Pocket knife. Um, what else that I would keep? I would say a bottle of water because you can
Okay.
never be too hydrated. And I would say a med kit or some form of trauma because you never know
Mhm.
what you might get into. And if especially in what I did in 2020,
Mhm.
if you ever get injured, you ever get shot, so
Mhm.
it's good to have a tourniquet.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's always good to have a tourniquet or two. It's always something, something to patch yourself up. And what else? I would say also,
Did you do more than five? I think you did more than
was that five? It might have been five. Yeah, that was five.
man taking his mind from the battle to photography.
Oh, also another reason why it's important to have a good pocket knife, especially if you're
Yeah.
photographing, if you're doing anything like close to home.
Mhm.
You never know when you got to open shit up. So a good pocket knife is always to have. Don't do me and having a K bar on you. Like, all right, so a K bar is like it's a fighting knife. It's like handles like
Okay.
it's like this long, and the blade is like 8 inches and whatever. Yeah, that's when I'm here in New York. When I'm traveling,
Oh
I'll
shit.
carry shit. I'll
Okay.
carry shit. And plus
Okay.
the New Yorker in me, knows, hey, you're gonna be in the city. You better have something.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
Okay. What keeps pushing your limits in photography?
The things that push my limits in photography is what hasn't been told or documented, I guess.
Mhm.
And from our perspective,
Mhm.
uh, and I just want to build something. I just want to make cool shit that not just me, but our people could like look back on it. Like, yeah, remember when I was there? Not necessarily because me, I like my work is not about me, but
Mhm.
like, necessarily it's more so about what I grew up around
Mhm.
and what I'm influenced by. But like when I make my work, like as we talked about earlier, you rarely see me. Like
Mhm.
it ain't. I do my best to make sure, like yeah,
Mhm.
like you don't ever see me unless like you're like we're doing this or you see me in person. But
Yeah.
like just having that same. I want to get to a place like where guys like Gordon Parks work, um, where it gets talked about not in regards of like fame and celebrity, but like did my work serve us as a journalist? Did it did it question some shit? Did it like
Mhm.
what did it do for us in general?
Mhm.
Whether it gave hope or it challenged something or it questioned things or um, it made somebody feel something.
Yeah.
Like one of the things I get in my DMs, I get a lot of I get people who's oh like shit. Even with this phone posit shoot that I did, I thought, all right, this is just a regular sneaker shoot.
Mhm.
It ain't nothing,
Mhm.
you know. All right, cool. People in my box, yo, this shit's fire.
Mhm.
Like, yo, I didn't, they like, yo, this is crazy. I didn't, they didn't expect something like that would come from me. Even when I, the first time I did the phone positive shoot,
Mhm.
the first one when I included black Muslim tag,
Mhm.
like a lot of Muslim community. It was all of my DMs. It was like, holy shit, I ain't never seen this before. But I ain't never seen something like that before for a Nike ad. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And it's crazy because I met him a year out before I even made that.
Hmm.
So I was like, all right, um, I want to make something with him
Yeah.
with his faith. And then Nike through people that make the special phone pauses, they called. It was like, yo, want you to do our campaign for the the past phone pauses that came out.
Hmm.
Now there's like pick whoever you want. We'll just do a double check. So I picked him. I was like, yo, I want to work with him.
Hmm.
And they didn't know I wanted to get that. I wanted to get his Muslim faith, but they because they quizzed me before. They said, "What do you know about the phone posit?" Blah blah. So I was telling them,
Hmm.
it's got connection between New York City and the DMV, and this. And it was like, cool. Make sure you know we're shooting him. That picture that I'm known for of him on the white background.
Hmm.
Uh, Man, so many people was in my DMs after they saw it. They was like, "What the fuck? How did you do that? Oh my god! Holy shit! We didn't think that
Yeah.
like." Because you like Nike's never made an image like that where they tie in someone's faith with basketball and
Hmm.
the sneaker culture and everything. So like to the point, the same client I was working with, CG, they showed me emails. Nike was jealous that they didn't make this image and that it wasn't a big production, but somehow you made it larger than life and this, that, and the
Hmm.
third. Like I was like, yo, the fact that took a black Muslim man and did that. I was like, y'all lucky I don't go to Harlem and go hit these 5%ers up and
Okay.
and then so that's why that that image of Mello
Yeah.
with the 5%er chain, like when I did that, because that was for Sports Illustrated.
Hmm.
They didn't see that shit coming. So they was like, "What the fuck?" They was like, because he pulled it out after the programmed shoot. Because it was,
Hmm.
I was like, because I talked to him, I was like, "Yo, Mel, I know you're wearing that 5% chain." He's like, because I seen it, I was like, "I know you're
Yeah.
wearing that." I seen like the chain part. He's like, "How the fuck did you know that?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, nigga, because all of a sudden when I said that, he's like, "Okay, Sharif." I was like, "Yeah, you thought I wasn't gonna notice?" I was like, "But listen, we don't have to shoot it now, but after the shoot, can I get a photo of you holding the 5% medallion?"
Yeah.
So after we did the video shoot, we did the official shoot for Sports Illustrated because it was for his retirement. I was like,
Hmm.
yeah. He's like, "Where you want to do it?" I was like, "Right against this gate." Pulled it out. The lady that was in charge of the shoot, she was like, "Holy shit, what the fuck is that?" I was
Hmm.
like, "Yeah, you wouldn't know about that, would you?" And
Yeah.
and there was another white lady he had. I think that was his manager at the time.
Yeah.
She was mad at me. She was like, "Fuck!" Blah, blah. I was like, "Yeah, you thought I was gonna notice?" Like, like, yeah. So she
Mm.
and the lady from the Sports Illustrated, she's like, "What is that?" She was like, "I've never seen that before." I was like, "Lady, if I was to tell you what this is, you'd be mad."
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just be ignorant at this point. It's
Yeah.
just cool
Mind your
jewelry.
business.
Yeah, because if I tell you what this is, if I tell you what the philosophy is, you're gonna be mad, and you're not gonna wanna you're not
Mm.
gonna fuck with me no more. So let's just be ignorant. Let's just. But with that being said, I like I want my work to represent us in its totality, whether
Mm.
it's me photographing
Mm.
folks in their faith or photographing us where we're at or what we celebrate or what we are talking about in our spaces. I always want to make sure like my work represents us in some sort of way. Same as like the Eli Reed or Deanna
Mhm.
Lawson or Gordon Parks,
Mhm.
or any black photographer in history that has made their work about us in some sort of way.
Gotcha.
So that's as long as the work is about that,
Mhm.
I'm cool.
Okay. I love that. All right. Next question. What is some advice for new photographers who want to make a career solo?
Man, the the best advice I can give them, well, I'll give them a few. Number one, be about your craft.
Mm.
Be about your craft. Full stop. Don't take shortcuts. Don't
Mhm.
because like we talked about with the way things are,
Mhm.
you want it to be about the talent first.
Right.
You know, you gotta got it's gotta be about the craft first. Like you don't put the craft first, You're gonna wind up like a lot of these people who, and just in art in general. Like, tell if you could, even if you want to use music as an example,
Mm-hmm.
how many artists in this music shit that's not gonna last 30 years from now,
Exactly.
right? So
Who
yours,
feel like they don't have to know the history of music, and that pisses me off.
right? So if I'm a photographer and mainly speaking to the prospective black photographers,
Mm-hmm.
be about your craft, and included in that craft is how how to how to make your pictures, how to everything that goes into making your pictures, the history. And I mean the history, not the history of photography, the history of black photographers, like their
Mm-hmm.
struggles, their ups, their downs, what they
Mm-hmm.
made pictures of, uh, what they thought.
Mm-hmm.
Understand where you come from because ultimately you're going to be in some shape, form, or fashion in this country or in the world. You're going to be living that same in some iteration. So you got to understand where you come from. You got to
Yeah.
understand your craft. You got to understand the ins and outs of your craft. You got to understand your history, and you got to learn how to be a human being.
Mm.
You can't you got to be a human being, right? Um, so in the context of us, you gotta you can't be shitty. You can't be a shitty person because you that's not gonna get you in the doors where you're trying to go, wherever you're trying to.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be shisty. You can't be stabbing. You can't be a chatty patty. You can't be
Mm-hmm.
fucking pillow talking. You can't you can't be doing bad business.
Right.
You if if another peer's asking for your help in a good-hearted way. Don't shit on them because
Mm-hmm.
you never know where you might be in life. And that's
Right.
not me gaslighting. That's just like the way shit is. We all need each other to pull each other up. So
Right.
being a good human being, being about your craft, understanding, understanding, you know, history as far as we come from, um and read. I know that's odd. I know that's odd to say. Read,
Hello? When I tell you it is such a turn off when a person be like, I can't remember the last book I read. What are you talking about?
read,
What are you
read,
talking about?
read. Because that's how my work is. That's how my work is influence because I'm reading not just books. I'm reading it. I'm reading everything that's not nailed down or that's private. That includes shit about like what's going on in the world. Like read. I cannot stress this.
Yeah.
Read
Yeah.
because you cannot be stupid and in this art form.
Mm.
You cannot be stupid.
Love it.
You should not be stupid. You should not be ill informed what's going on in your world. Gotta read.
Love it.
Got I can't stress this enough because also too what young photographers should get in their heads is eventually they're gonna have to write about their work in whatever facet, and they don't have to be just in an academic space.
Mhm.
People are gonna ask, "Hey, can you give me a paragraph about what your work is about?"
Mhm.
Even what I work on, people ask me, "Hey, like for example, again, back to this current project I'm working on." A lot of black people ask me, "Hey, what's this project you and these guns about?" And I got like good 3 paragraphs. I'll give them, "Hey, read this." They'd be like,
Mhm.
"Oh shit! All right, cool. I want to take part in this." It You can't be no dummy in doing this. I don't care. I don't care what white folks are doing. I don't care what any other group of photographers doing. As a black photographer, you should be reading. You should be in some form way. You should be writing too, because
Mhm.
people are going to ask you, and not just academia, but everyday people
Yeah.
are going to ask you what you're working on, what influences your work, why are you doing this, and if you don't have the information, like you're gonna look crazy out
And some people, when they do approach you about your work, they're gonna come to you already with a level of ignorance about you. And
right,
what you say, how you express yourself will either erase that ignorance or make them justified in having that ignorance about the next person. So it's
right,
like for black people, we are constantly always in a position to represent us, not just me, you know?
Right.
And
Us.
so when your parents, when you're little, be like, don't you go out there and embarrass us, or don't you go on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh, you want me to dance for you or show up for you. It's more so like the way they see you, they see us,
Right.
you know?
So yeah, you gotta represent. Like, and that's when whenever I'm in our spaces and when I gotta go into other spaces,
Mhm.
like, because because I don't care about what they think, but at the same time, as long as I know I showed out for us, as long
Yeah,
as I represent us in how we see fit,
right.
how we see fit, I'm gonna. That means I'm not gonna shuck and jive for them. That means I'm gonna,
Yes.
you
But
know,
I'm gonna set the standard on how you treat the next person that looks like you.
right, right. Because how you treat me is how you're gonna treat the
Yes.
next group, and I don't care what walks of life they come
Yeah.
from. How you treat me is how you're
Yeah.
gonna treat the next guy and the next girl and
Yes.
whoever. We're gonna set the standard right away. So I cannot stress, being able to read, like reading everything, writing like if you can write or type or whatever. And I would say also, um, very last thing I would say is keep it like how can I say? Because part of being an artist too, you gotta not be afraid of trying shit. So always
Keep it
experiment when you can.
spontaneous.
Yeah, keep it spontaneous. Like I shit you not, Chantel. I did not know that I was gonna take. I did not know in my career I was gonna be doing half the shit I've done already.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, I'm gonna be sports photographer.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take advantage of this, blah blah. I did not know that it was gonna turn into, oh, we can get for some fashion shit, or
Yeah.
we can get him for, or like even like I said, with a lot of projects, a lot of people hit me up. Yo, I like where your head's at. Yo, can we get you down here to help? We want to be a part of this. Like when I start this weapon shit, you know how many people like I couldn't even get women to be part of this. Now they see it. Now it's like, yo, I want to be part of this. Yo, I want to blah blah
Mhm.
blah. Cool. Even with the sports thing, when I was approaching from the race thing, from a us thing, it was like people like, yo, you should come to my camp. Yo, come to my get turn to me. Not just photographing inside camp, but I got pictures of fighters on dirt bikes and in their communities, all the way
Mhm.
down to their kids, and so always keep it spontaneous. You never know where this art is going to take you. Like I've been between inside a political convention,
Mhm.
like with that picture of Maxine Waters. I
Mhm.
think my black ass was not supposed to be there, but because because I give a damn, it put me in that room. Like, granted, that Democratic National Convention in
Mhm.
2016, absolute clown show. But I was like, yo, if I can get these so-called iconic people, like I got like one a set of pictures I got, like in the span of those small amount of years that like between Mike Brown's mom, Trayvon's mom, blah blah. I got a picture of those, got portraits of those moms.
Mhm.
I was like, all right, fuck the politicians because they neither here nor there. If I can get portraits of them that I can keep, because that was a moment for a lot, especially for us as millennials, I guess, or like our generation, so to speak. Like it was
Mhm.
that was a crazy moment for us. So I was like, if I can document, if I could take that, and that was my like out of for that whole political convention, I was like, if nothing else, I want those pictures because one is for Facebook and Instagram, like because they were partners for the Democratic National Convention. They hired me to do portraits for them. So I was like, all right, fuck these politicians. The hell with these politicians. But if I can
Mhm.
get these moms,
Mhm.
I can get photograph them. I'm good. And mind you, I was high for those 4 years. So they they sobered me up. They sobered me up, and yeah, I was like, all right, cool. All right, let me make these pictures. But
Yeah.
yeah, keep it playful because you never know where your career is gonna take you. Keep it open. Keep it playful. Always trying stuff. Um, study your craft. Study your history. Read, write, um, and just represent us well wherever you go.
That's right. All right. Love that. I agree with those things. Last question. What makes photography and art for you? And what exactly you mentioned it before where you was like something between boot camp and you being in the military clique where you were like you have to get back to this art shit. But what made you say once I get out of this military I can't go to look for a job. It has to be something aligned in this thing that I love to do and love to create.
Uh, man. Well, for me, photography is an art form because despite despite there not being any paintbrushes, despite being
Hmm.
there not being any paper,
Right.
so to speak, to draw on, using these machines and life being a canvas,
Hmm.
still like you're using light and shadow to to create things. You blend in those um two opposing things that make up shapes of things. Like
Hmm.
that's art. Like take like it don't art. See, we we sometimes think that art is just like, all right, take this pencil, I draw something. I take these crayons, I draw and color in something. I take these color pencils, I draw and color something. Art, shit, art, art ain't just like that. Art is it's physical. It's shit. You can make art by singing. You can make art by whooping somebody's ass. Like art, like art is something. Art is creation,
Hmm.
right? So the fact that we're taking these crazy machines, even something like this, even something like a phone, and you got a camera, and the fact that we're using something, we're taking light and we're taking shadow, and we're bending it to our will to make some. We're using light, shadow, and color. We're bending it to our will using whether it's whether it's digitally or analog. We're bending these things to our will to create something beautiful, something challenging, something contradictory. We're creating something. Something's being created out of with 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 these machines. So and it's not just like everybody because everybody can be a photographer, right? But it's what can you do that makes you with this art form that makes you an artist? How
Right.
can you how can you take this? How can you take these objects and make something thought provoking
Hmm.
out of it? Um, so it's definitely artful. What's the second half of your question?
Um, what made you bridge like I created this thing as a kid. I like doing art as a kid. Once you got out of the military, what made you say I'm going to utilize the access this thing gave me to do my thing that I like instead of you look for a job. Let me go get a job.
So yeah, so uh, um, in my military career, I was still looking at art, still looking at
Okay.
photography, whatever. So like looking at old life magazines,
Hmm.
looking at like uh past work, highlighting the civil rights movement,
Hmm.
highlighting because it's crazy through the 60s and 70s across the board. A lot of crazy photography came out. Like um,
It was
so
like prime time to catch shit.
yeah, yeah, and the crazy thing is there was no barrier of access, right?
Yeah.
So it ranges from you could be photographing Martin Luther King in DC
Mm.
You could be at your local church photographing Aretha Franklin.
Mhm.
You could be you could be in Harlem photographing Malcolm X. You could be
Which
in
makes you think, like, how many black families have a picture of those people in their
right.
house? Thank you so much for watching this episode on YouTube. Shan and Pods. Yes, it's a channel. You can find it on chanbepoddin.com and the link in the show notes. And also, just so you know, if you're an audio listener, this episode is available on audio. Now back to the show. Right now.
Right. Like, yo, like even like okay, like with Aretha Franklin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine going to church with a camera. You like, all right, yo, she just part of the choir, whatever. You photographing her, whatever. And then now then you look at and then your grandkids and you're like, yo, this is Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she was at my church. She had a 1 hour special
Yeah.
at my church. And at the time he ain't thinking nothing. He's like, oh yeah, that's Aretha. That's Sister Aretha. And your kids are
Yeah.
like, nah, you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like that so like um so looking at those pictures, look from the 60s all the way to the 90s, even like with Eli Reed,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like him being on because he was like one of the first. He was among the first among the first black photographers that was on set for movies. So him creating some of the imagery from
Mm-hmm.
Poetic Justice, and so look between that time frame, looking at all this body, all this work, and I like something is just like nah, because I could have. I you know what, a lot of folks I was in the military with, they wound up either being cops, or
Mm-hmm.
being
That's usually what
contractors, or
happens.
it's usually what happens. Me, I like it's just like that artist thing, man. It stick to me as a kid, like being playful. Like to this day, I still read comic books. To this day, like every now and again, if I'm bored, if I'm like
Mm-hmm.
in the doctor's office or something, I'll draw a little bit or whatever. But I always I've always wanted to just create art and like looking at that era of black photography, even looking at some like the images that came out. There's a gentleman. I got there's an iconic picture he got us of not just Stevie Wonder, but I think he was on set for Soul Train. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken, I forgot who he is. But just looking at the eras of black photography where there was a lot of access to
Mm-hmm.
a lot of facets of black society, whereas like when and now it's not that like it's not that much access to shit. But like
Mm-hmm.
doing that, just looking at the different forms of black life. Even like I said with Eli Reed, he didn't just turn his camera to the celebrity. He would take his camera and go photograph party life in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
He just look around a lot of black people. Even looking at like old pictures, like shit you'll see at like Freaknik or
Mm-hmm.
like when black people take these pictures behind these iconic backgrounds with the wicker chair. Like
Mm-hmm.
just looking at that
That
photography
famous
from that.
wicker chair.
So it's crazy because that's part of my work now.
Yeah.
Is that? But looking at that photography influenced me. It's like, all right, I want to create this at some point. I want to create all of this at some point. That's what was like, do the serious work. But looking at that, I was like, all right, because it's like I could have chose to stick on the on the guns, on the being a foot soldier for the white man, all that. But like that creative bug that stuck with me all throughout boot camp, all throughout School of Infantry, all throughout when I got to the actual Fleet Marine Force and started applying my trade as a machine gunner.
Mm-hmm.
That artist never left. Like I said, I was looking at art. I was looking at art books. I was looking at old life archives, on the internet, whatever. Like art stuck, art, stuck. It became part. Even me being an avid movie watcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even on deployment, like I would feel like because they tell us before you go on deployment, hey, make sure you have a hard drive of movies and shit because ain't gonna be too much computers out there. So bring your laptop, bring your
Mm.
hard drive of movies and other things. Because you don't have access to women or entertainment, so you gotta bring your own. Uh,
Yeah.
so just art being a part of being art being a part of me, whether it's movies, whether it's drawing, whether it's
Mm.
paintings. Oh, even as a kid, I did paint. Even as a kid, I did paint. So like, just
Mm.
when I say I was an art kid, like trying different shit, like the music, of course, I just like it didn't stick with me long, but I was like, I want to try it. The
Mhm.
painting thing didn't stick with me, but I did it. I was like, yeah, I like it, but I don't know if this is a viable career for me. I don't know.
Mhm.
Drawing, right? But guitar, like it's just I was always even like martial arts, like it just always being an art kid, always wanting to create something, always being in love with creating something.
Mhm.
It stuck with me even past the the military, like even past the military lifestyle, like just something. And you know what too? It's crazy because
Mhm.
I've seen other guys in my unit draw and shit. Like I have, which is fucked up. We had this one kid. His name is Kill Dunn from Montgomery, Alabama, black kid. Um, 18 years old. You would have thought he was from New York because I was like, how a kid from Montgomery, Alabama, he breakdancing and shit. I was like, where the fuck did he get that from? I was like, wait, was he? It's crazy because, like I said, he grew up in Montgomery, Alabama. But when I tell you this kid was hip hop to the fullest, like
Yeah.
every time we got off of work when we wasn't trained, like, cause okay, when you go to like one of the bases, like Camp Lejeune, Camp Pendleton, like the way the barracks are built, it's like a college dorm, right? You got your dorm, and then you got the quad,
Yeah.
got the you got the big open grass or whatever. So there used to be like this concrete part where it was like picnic table, and then you got the rest of the concrete. This kid, he would go out there with his boom box. He had a boom box. Shit, you not boom box, whatever. Or sometimes he played it music through his computer. He took a cardboard box
Mhm.
and he would be breakdancing on that shit. I'm like, wait the fuck, but you from the country? I was like, you sure you're not from New York? He's like, nah, I'm from. Unfortunately, he didn't make it back on the first deployment.
Mhm.
But he seeing him was like, all right, yo, you gotta keep this art thing going. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what beside all of that, always been an art kid, and then him. And it's crazy because that was the first casualty we took on the first deployment. I was like, like it's,
Wow.
but his creativity, his light, his
Mhm.
wonder, him being a, him being him being a hip hop head to the fullest, and he created videos too. So he was very creative despite being
Yeah.
in a dark occupation. So he pushed me through. He inspired me to, all right, yo, you get out, you're gonna you're gonna go back to this art thing now, especially now that you're gonna have the funding to do that, and like don't stay in this place
Mhm.
that got him killed. You get out and you live the artist life that he would have lived.
Mm. I love that. I feel like people like you are like deposits to the culture. So every opportunity, every missed opportunity, everything in your life happened when it was supposed to happen, and it happened for a reason in order for you to be able to push through this, because I've never met someone with a military background keep something creative come out understanding the value and the standard of balance, maybe not sleep, but
Nah,
balance
balance.
in the life that I lived, that experience that I had. Let me get back to the thing that I love, because usually people who are in the military, I see them as one dimensional in conversation, and you are not that. So for you to be able to keep that art with you after and still push through like you're pushing is excellent. And I think um you have to find a way to keep your art and your photography and what you want to say in the right hands while you're here and even in your absence.
Yeah.
Because it's important. Because, I mean, if you look at now, when it comes to these kids, how they're taking out their truth and books that support them and who they are out of schools because it's mean to the other students.
Yeah.
It's important that your work is with the right people, because I always think about, okay, I see the work that we can see from the people before us from decades ago. What about the work that they burnt? What about the work that they ruined, that they didn't want us to see? I mean, we see it in things in our environment, how they cut our noses off so we can't see reflection. But
Right.
through history, the math is mathing. Okay, we know we
Right.
were there. So
Right.
it's very important for you to do what you do. But I do appreciate you giving me your time today. I never knew that you were to get this much in depth. I thought you were going to give me let me focus on what was said. Let me give the answer, Anthony, on Twitter. But I'm so happy that you're this open, because I understand why someone will be able to have a conversation with you for hours, because your mind is not one dimensional. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
and even with social media, like I can't get everything I want to say across,
Yeah.
especially in like when it comes to Twitter, because ain't a damn thing on that app fucking nuance. And
Right.
like you got, if you're gonna say something, you gotta like, all right, yo, this is what I said.
Yeah. Let
That's
me
it,
sum
and
it up. Yeah.
let me sum it up quickly. Because if you start having nuanced conversations about like even art, like
Hmm.
even what we have to do, what we as a people have to do to even be able to be artists.
Hmm.
Like it's a damn shame that I had to go in the military and fight in this war to be able to be artists, which is crazy because I look at what folks are going through overseas between the continent of Africa and the Middle East, and
It's
it's just
sick.
like
And
it's
it's
sad.
sick on a level where y'all would show this, but y'all wanted to show an American being shot from a police point of view on the internet. But y'all will continuously, back to back, day to day, hour to hour, show us babies, women, men, people falling from buildings onto the floor. And it really makes me feel like um the imagery that they use to keep black people in this mindset of you'll never be nothing, look what I do to your people, and keep you under thumb, I feel like is the same imagery that they're showing those Palestinian people to keep them under thumb. And then you see Jewish people pushing for that shit when y'all were once under someone's thumb. And I'm just
Right.
like, why are we repeating and trying to have a conversation of who was more oppressed, who was more uh demonized and disrupted as people, when y'all are not seeing the bigger picture? We are human to human. We are not superior human to human. And
Right.
who are you to say what these people need to do when this has always been their home? And why the fuck do you need this space because you feel like it's yours, but you won't let these people leave for their safety? It's really disgusting to me.
It is. It is. And also, you know, that's why it's crazy because that's why I started the Black Minds Any Weapon thing because
Mhm.
I had a conversation with somebody on Twitter. He's a philosophy major. His name is Myron,
Mhm.
and he and another person on Twitter was talking about Black resistance and what that would look like. 'Cause they was playing around
Mhm.
with AI imagery,
Mhm.
um,
Which
and
is
then they posed,
dangerous, but that's a whole nother
which is
conversation.
yeah. So they was playing around with imagery, what that would look like, and on an AI level,
Mm-hmm.
and they kept asking questions. In the 21st century, what does our resistance look like? What does black resistance look like? What does black armed resistance look like? And I was like, you know what? Let me try to photograph that. Let me try to create that, like for real, like
Mm-hmm.
using us, blah blah blah. So because to your point, like you said, they was showing us fucked up shit, to keep us down, to keep us hopeless, to keep us, thinking like we're our own worst enemy. So that's what also led this project that I've been plugging in
Mm-hmm.
all program. Yeah, because like you said, to your point, they were showing us fucked up shit. So it's like, and that's the other thing too about this talk. What makes art so great, because we can we can um we can counter what they create and put in our heads, right?
Which is
Um,
why creators who have the space, i.e., a Tyler Perry, piss me off because look
right.
at how you have the space to create film to go against what they're perpetuating in other films. Why keep
Yeah,
repeating this dumb cycle of trauma between our men and our women on film because it's going to get clicks, it's going to create conversation, but are we leveling up in the conversation? And that is where I feel like this government will always defeat us, is because they get to sit and watch this calendar of they want to do something, they're being misguided, a new movie come out, they want to talk about race, they want to talk about this movie, they want to talk about their trauma, they want to talk about why their men aren't good enough, they want to talk about why their women aren't good enough, and then something pivotal happens in current times, and then that's a conversation, and then we get right back to like this bullshit,
it's
and it's
right,
not growing into anything.
and because you know what, and that's where it's crazy, because now we're talking about what we coin in the military as counterinsurgency, because like they all right. So when we talk about counterinsurgency, right? You
Mm-hmm.
gotta understand who they counter, right? Who they regard to as the insurgency, right? And
Mm-hmm.
who's always been a thorn in the United States government's backside,
Mm-hmm.
our diaspora, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they see us as the insurgency. So what do you do to disrupt that insurgency, to
Mm-hmm.
disrupt their way of thinking, their way of doing things? Well, on the thought level, you do, like, part of that thought level is creating what they deem as art, to keep that perpetual cycle of us always going against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because I seen this happen in Afghanistan. We did the same. This government did the same thing to these people. The only thing is, it's not on the level where we're experiencing. It's mine, but it ain't like they can outright out the Taliban and like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is your bad guy. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
with here, it's like a thousandfold here. Like they like they doing it in through the art, not just through the art, but like the art is a part of like the castration of the physical
Mm-hmm.
castration out the. All right, yo, let's put in certain informants to.
It's a cancer.
It's a cancer. So, and what makes it difficult to counter this counterinsurgency is when you got gentlemen like Tyler Perry, you got all these filmmakers who don't make films, and who don't make films to uplift, like they have the vehicle to uplift us, but they rather fill their pockets and serve the counterinsurgency than, like, okay, yo, can you take a risk? Especially, you say you own your own land, you own your own production. Can you make a film that's inspiring for our people? Like
Like when
what?
I
Like,
when I see our people creating a movie, I and it ends, and I'm left. not feeling like I felt at the end of The Great Debaters, I'm pissed.
Right, right. Like, okay, like one example of that too, when the author of The Spook Who Sat by the Door, Sam Greenlee,
Yeah.
and he was, well, when he was creating the movie, you know who's standing aside from the FBI? You know who else stood in his way of trying to get that film created?
What
The
about it?
NAACP. They did their damnedest to try to pull his funding, get him all tripped up, and then not trying to not have his film being shown.
Why?
Because
Can we answer that honestly?
we can all right shit. You want to answer honestly? Because a thought, the thought of us physically fighting for our liberation is threatening for some of our own, right?
Because
They're like,
some people, this is a whole other conversation, but some
this is a
people are
whole
just
nother
like, look how much better it has gotten. Why can't we just be okay with this? Because
right,
why are we okay with them giving us this much allowance when they have this much allowance? You know what I'm
right,
saying? How much greater could your children's children be with this much allowance when you're telling us we should be okay with this?
right. And the thought of having, also the thought of one day having to literally, like, you see what the Palestinian people are like, they like, they're in it, they're in the
Mm-hmm.
fight, they're in the fight of their lives. So a lot of people, a lot of our, like, not a lot, but some of our own people don't want to don't want to face that, like, realization, like one day I shit, even now we we are gonna have to, like, we're gonna have to bump heads again with these people, because it's like you said, to your point, you see them with all of this, and we are being left with, they're like, here, that's all you get. And these people that are satisfied with this,
Mm-hmm. Are fighting us.
they fight us. They're like, no, 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 no. Like, no, I'm happy with this. No, stop fighting. No, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. And the people that want this, they're like, nah, they got that. We should have that. This is because when you understand our conditions, you understand, like, this is not, like, this was stolen.
Yeah.
Every we was stolen,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically was like, here, we're gonna give you a little bit of what we stole from you,
Mm-hmm.
and other people that look that other people that are in your,
Mm-hmm.
or in the space that we made up,
Mm-hmm.
that y'all don't deserve anything. Don't come up here and try to fight us.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we, as a people across the diaspora, on this land and other places where they conquered it, are like, nah, give us that's not yours, that's ours. People don't want to have to resist that, and the resisting that, it doesn't just include the fighting, the physical fight, it includes mentally fighting, includes, all right, yo, I'm gonna go against the grain and teaching my students something different, or I'm gonna go around my boys and I'm gonna get y'all to think differently, or I'm gonna take this art form and I'm gonna do something different that gets people to think about things a little different in regards to our oppression, or something simple as like accounting. Like, yo, I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna show y'all how to do accounting in a way where we can take some of what was stolen from us back, or whatever the case may be. There's a people. There's so you look at something like Spook Who Sat by the Door, and read about how it was sabotaged,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at who's pulling strings on this on the sabotage. Yeah, that's counterinsurgency. Like, and Tyler Perry is part of that counterinsurgency. I hate to say that, but
Well,
we
it
gotta
is
be
what it is, and it's a conversation that needs to be had. But
him.
and then on the other side, I hate that there's only like this many of us to even make it as far as a Tyler Perry, to have the platform that and the foundation that he made for himself,
Yeah.
that all of black people's greatness is now on your back. Because
Right.
realistically, I don't want it to be on his back.
Right.
But to see how many resources and tools you have at your hands,
It's
and
on
this
his
is what
back.
you keep repeatedly perpetuating, there's a responsibility.
You have, because at the end of the day, you have, and folks may not agree with me on this. At the end of the day, we as in black people, we have responsibility to each other whether we like it or not.
Yeah,
We're we have responsibility to each other because who else but us is going to look out for us,
nobody.
right? Like, oh, like we like when you get past the ally thing and all that other bullshit. At the end of the day, who's going to have our back if not us, right?
Nobody.
So when I look at folks that have a lot more than us, yeah, it's on your back.
Hmm.
It's on your back because honestly, like you have way more than enough to where you can build shit with.
Hmm.
You can like how is it like decades ago, like like and even that's nuance, right? Because it's like all right, the only reason why like black wealthy people built around black people because they had no other choice. Because they at the time they couldn't even integrate until the 60s and 70s. So they had no choice but to build with other black people. But it's like, yeah, the fact that you have a lot more, and you at the end of the day, you still claim that you're black. So if you claim that you are a part of black people, you have a lot more. I tend to think, yeah, it should be on your back to also help the next black man or black woman or black child get to where you're at instead of
Hmm.
because one thing and even I started looking at what I was doing in my practice. I was like, nah, I can't be the only one. I can't be the first. Can't be like
I
because
hate when I tell you I hate when black people do something great and the article says
the first.
the first African American, blah 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 blah. I wanted to say, but I've had this conversation with Drake from Everything Culture podcast because he is very pro black. I also understand why they say that, but when I see African American, I see American articles and outside the country saying this black person owned by the American culture has done something great among their people. And
Right,
my thing is like, don't put Chantal the first nothing. Put Chantal, Marshall, blah blah did something great. Me being American born and having two Jamaican parents has nothing to do with why I did what I did. It's a
right,
personal want and practice of why I became this great thing.
right, right. And that's how I carry it. Like, yeah, I'm Black American and everything, but don't because even when we see like, all right, this is the first of whatever, that implies that so you held us back from making this happen several times because of your own ignorance. So why should this be celebrated?
And in
Why should
2024, we're still breaking barriers of racism.
yeah, like that's like it's an illness. It's like I'm
Yeah.
supposed to I'm supposed to celebrate the fact that you first of all, the fact that you allowed one of us to get up there and do something that's never been
It's
done
almost
before.
like when they say that shit, it's almost like they want credit for allowing us
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
recognized. But who are all the brown skinned beautiful people before me that you ignored that did something great and you took credit? There's a lot of us. And that I have an issue with too, with how many films get made each year talking about slavery. that are like 4 films that they keep remaking of 4
Mm-hmm.
different instances, as if we didn't have inventors, creators that were erased from being the originators of and put a
Right.
white man's name.
Yeah. Like even when you look at something as like even when you look at like something that's like vengeance films, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
revenge based films, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why was the white man the only one to be able to create a black vengeance type story,
Okay.
right? But when I bet you because like something like American Skin, right? I'm thinking, okay, Nate Parker's gonna is this is this black vengeance story, that's this is gonna be hardcore, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah, and yes, he had a lighthearted ending. I'm like, who tapped his shoulder? Why was he not allowed? It's just like
I
when
mean,
I hear the
I felt
first
that
black,
way about Queen and Slim. Why the fuck couldn't they get on the plane and go to Cuba?
why
Why
like
can't we have a win?
you know what I'm saying? That's and
Why do all this work as a black creator have these beautiful black people in this film? It was shot amazing, and you get to
hmm
this point to show us that one of us let one of us down for
but see even that's fucked up because we look at Queen of Slim like like that's why to your credit when we talk about Tyler Perry, he has all the resources. Why can't we have our own film studio? Because Queen of Slim was done under Universal, so
mm,
they're like, yeah, y'all not gonna make it. Like, yeah, we're gonna allow y'all to have this facade to think you're gonna make it, but when you
but
watch
that's
this
that
film,
individual thinking when it comes to us. We're the
right,
only ethnicity here in America that's just like me,
right,
when other cultures come together, us, so then it could
right,
be you and yours.
right.
And
Because I wish, like there was a black studio that was like, yo, we'll take Queen and Slim instead of Universal. Because of course, you should get bought by some white studio. They're gonna look at the script like, yo, y'all not making it. At the end, you're gonna write, you're not making it. Now imagine if that was under a black film studio, they would have made it to Cuba. But again,
mhm,
goes back to me, where yo, we have an idea as creators, your own people that own the studios, that own their own studios, that own their own whatever,
mhm.
they don't even want to invest in it. So then you forced to damn near take your shit
And
to
back to that vengeance shit. I don't like how they make films
yeah.
that would create thought because let's just face it, white culture is still scared of black people having
They still
the
scared.
audacity to think for themselves. But
Yeah,
when we make films that would make people think, not just black people, a lot of people don't want to carry the film because it might incite a riot. You know how many white vengeance films we had to watch?
I could
Like, do you know? And I think that's what's really like
I could name them off.
the anchor in this government not giving black people a fair level of, okay,
I'm not-
we did some wrong, we'll get you here, go ahead and build from this, is they are constantly waking up and going to sleep in fear of us being
One
able to
day,
be at a higher level than we are and
yeah,
doing something in retaliation.
yeah, because they like you said, they even shit, they even have trouble sleeping at night because they know one day, like I'll put it in a phrase so our viewers can understand this. Imagine the circus.
Yeah.
Imagine the circus.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing the circus animals acting like, all right, yo, enough is enough.
Mhm.
Let me attack the let me attack the guy that's controlling
And
the
I do
circus.
cheer on the damn lions, the bears, and the elephants when they stomp them out.
Right.
Because if you really, and this is, I've never taken my kids to the circus for this reason. Because the point that you're about to make is on point. Because if you really think about what they had to do to those animals to teach them to paint, do tricks and shit that they're
It's
not
slavery.
supposed to do.
It's oppression.
And
And the
I
day
started to think, I was like, is having pets as an American slavery?
that, I mean, I don't want to say it, but that's why in a fucked up, I don't own pets because I'm like, yo, and maybe this is my imagination running wild. I'm like, yo, what if just one morning I woke up and the dog was like, yo, get up, get your ass up. I can speak now. Like, you got something you want to say? Nah.
Right.
Grab his leash and I like, no, you're not grabbing leash. I'm putting you on the leash.
Yeah.
At some point, folks are gonna wake up, and white people don't want that day to come because they're like, yo, if these people not just wake up, because it's 2024. If you're not aware of what's going on, I like, if you're not 5 years old, I got you like it's
You're
pathetic.
choosing, if you're not aware, you're choosing not to see.
Right, right. Even a 5-year-old see that,
Yeah.
but at some point, they are worried that the day we've had enough, it's going to be their dark day.
Oh yeah.
And nobody and can't nobody's gonna be able to do shit about it. That's what they're worried about. That's why they every year they find some way to trip us up. Like when you look at our society, yo, it's constantly an obstacle to get somewhere. It's like, yo, why are y'all so worried? Why are y'all so worried? Why y'all put so many obstacles? Because you know the day when we have enough. Yo, I tell you right now, this place gonna look crazy.
And even like with your project that you're working on with us with firearms and just as a human right being able to protect ourselves or have what we want, when the imagery of any other family doing the same thing is on the internet or being in the article, it's like, yes. When it's us, it's just like, oh my gosh, what are they
Like,
planning? What are they gonna do?
yeah,
Why would you?
yeah. Why would you? Because I know I'm gonna get those questions soon. Right
Yeah.
now, it's like everybody's like, yeah, yeah, but I know as I get deeper, they're gonna be like, why? Like, what are you resisting? What do you? I know I'm gonna get those questions. What are y'all resisting? Why? Why do you feel this way? Why are you writing the way you write? Like right now, everybody's like, yay, resistance, because either that or they just love because there's people that like follow me that don't read what I write,
Mm-hmm.
although I put it there, and they're like, "Yeah, guns." I'm like, "Oh no, this is not what you think.
Yeah.
This is not what y'all think this is. Y'all gonna find out real quick, like that this is not what you think this is. This is like based on us. That people they don't want like people are
They're
more comfortable.
lazy.
Yeah, like people are more comfortable with Dirty Harry than like if if you walked out if you took if you took a pistol and you saved your kids from a white child traffic.
Mm-hmm.
They're more comfortable with Dirty Harry
Mm-hmm.
because if you know, whereas that's why they trip us up because they see us as like because they know what they did was fucked up. They know what they do is fucked up, and they can't live with themselves because they know the day that comes that the roles get reversed. Like we're not the type that's going to put people in slavery, but we can damn sure ourselves get ourselves out of this shit that they call and they fear that because I mean shit, yo, you want to look at an example? Look at the case. Look what happened with McCall Xavier Johnson.
I don't know
They had to use a robot to kill him
that.
because he just got sick of it. He got sick of the police, and he started mowing down police officers very accurately too. Look, if you get a chance, look at that case, and they had to send in the robot to kill him. Like not like a Terminator, but like they sent in a remote control robot to kill him because they couldn't handle that level of like
Mm-hmm.
yo like this is get back like even like that's why they when you look at the laws like that's why You look at the Firearm Act in the '60s. They stop us from having firearms because imagine we was just allowed. Imagine if we all had our firearms freely with no laws, no background checks, whatever. We could roll up to the fucking Capitol on day one and be like, "Yo, listen,
I am against state laws.
yeah,"
I feel like on a
because
federal level, it should be a federal say on shit like that.
right, and even then, they was like, "Yo, we can't have these niggers rolling up on Capitol Hill with these weapons, telling us demanding reparations." They are afraid, and that's why they're getting at our youth too, because they know our youth is way smarter than what they perceive it to be, and when when black youth of today keep digging down that rabbit hole, oh, they're gonna tear this place a new asshole in ways they they thought they never seen. Like even like when you look at like corporate America, you see a lot of youth are leaving corporate America and doing shit for self. Even our age group, like we're still young. We're leaving the workplace, or we're not spending as much time in the
We just
workplace,
see
and
the
we're
scam, like even
yeah,
down to, well, I can't say it because of my fuel, but that's a scam too. You know, um,
and they worry that because like now people starting to get off the quote unquote like the proverbial plantation, and they're doing for self, and they so when people have had enough, when our people have had enough, oh yeah, that's why they keep tripping us up because they know that when the day comes, when we all just like wake up that morning and be like, fuck it. When
even
it,
the understanding of wealth. Like right now, you
yeah,
and I, we work,
right,
but in reality, you're more wealthier than me in time because that's the only wealth. I sell my time and someone limits me on what my time costs because I signed an agreement on how they can limit me on what my time costs that I give them. You
right,
haven't limited yourself. You can wake up tomorrow and choose to do your art and tell someone what the price is
right,
and not have that ceiling for yourself, right?
right,
I subscribe to a corporate ceiling for myself to sell my time. But as I get older, I understand that my time is worth more than the
it's
money that
worth
they can give me.
it's worth way more because the money because until we can own the production, because all right, until we get to a place where it benefits the worker, like we
Mhm.
own out, like because we work the most, we get paid. Because I mean, even when I look at when I we getting beyond. All right, we go to politics. When you look at like the American CEO, I look at like why is this American CEO, which is typically a white man, he fucks up all the books, he makes all the stupid ass decisions,
Mhm.
all the fucked up shit. And you look at the people at the quote unquote bottom, they're making it all happen. They're making sure everything is on the up and up. But they get paid the least, and he gets paid the most, and he's fucking everything up. It's like, nah, that should be the switcheroo. Like the workers should be getting paid the most because they doing the most. I hope we. It's like I hope we get to that point where the workers get the most and not
You want
that
my
dickhead.
here?
No, no, yeah, not here. Because I'm like, we everywhere I go, like even as a freelancer, every time I look in companies, it's always the dickhead CEO that winds up fucking shit up,
Mhm.
fucking the money up, fucking up the books.
Mhm.
And then I look at the people at the quote unquote bottom, they're making sure everything's upright, everything's uptight, ain't nobody stealing nothing, ain't nobody like the company is moving how the way it's supposed to be moving. I'm like, I always ask, like, even as a kid, I was like, why don't the workers make more than this idiot that's sitting up here that's wasting everybody's time, but he gets a bailout? I've always asked
Greed,
that.
ego, and pride.
Yeah, because I'm like, if anything, It's the workers that should be his boss.
And um, well, let me just say this: we are not talking about art. We're talking about people in life.
Yeah.
Um, thank you, Anthony, for doing this recording. We're gonna keep talking, but it's not gonna be about art. Can you tell them where to find you?
All right. So for all art purposes, all because you got to break this down.
Yeah.
For all art purposes, you can find me on my website. You can find my work at my website, www.anthonygeathersphotography.com. If you want purely the work,
Mm-hmm.
www.anthonygeathersphotography.com. Now, if you want the work with some commentary,
Mm-hmm.
you go to my Instagram at Anthony B. Geathers. That's again, if you want my work with commentary, with insider notes on how I make the work and everything, go to my Instagram at Anthony B. Geathers. Now, if you just want to hear my thoughts on the world views
Mm-hmm.
and how I think on certain shit, you go to my Twitter. My Twitter's at Brooklyn's Own 90. You just want, if you want a mix of the art, some thoughts about uh, the world, how I see it, and some pop culture stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
go to Twitter at Brooklyn's Own 90.
Gotcha. All right, y'all. I'm Shan. I will post this soon, but we have other things to talk about. Bye.